Okay, 2026 planning system. I will be using a cousin again this year. I've been using the 2025 all year, well, most of the year. It gets a little complicated because while I love the cousin, I love all of the pages, it is missing elements for me that I need. I like having everything, and I mean everything, in one book and one system. The problem that comes to the cousin, and honestly any yearly planner, is that it doesn't have space for, what are they called? For long-term collections or for like reference pages. And I don't want to be rewriting those every year. So early in the year, I had the strong urge to debind my cousin and put it in an A5 rings. And I was too scared to do that. So I ended up going through a couple different renditions of planner systems and none of them worked. And finally I decided to debind my 2025 planner and put it in a rings. And since I have done that, it has been fantastic. I have been loving it. So I am going to show you today how I debind my 2026 and punch it and get it ready for the year ahead. All right, tools we will be needing. We will be needing a Hobonichi Cousin 2026, or planner of your choice. Honestly, this will probably work with more than just the Hobonichi. You need a hole punch of some sort. Got this one off Amazon. You will need some way to trim the debound edges of your page, whether that be a ruler and an X-Acto knife or one of these fancy little slider deals, or really just any scissors works too. I like using this because it gets me a slightly more precise edge. And then for my pages, I also like to round my corners. I just like the look that gives. It feels softer, and yeah, I like that. So we will be using this as well. And an X-Acto knife or sharp blade of some kind to cut the binding. So let's move these out of the way because we don't need them yet. Open our planner. Oh, it's crisp. Don't you love a good, nice, crisp planner? All right, so the Hobonichi is bound in basically 4 sheets at a time. So a sheet is across both pages. So if we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, if you open up the binding, you will find the stitching right there. So we're gonna take our X-Acto knife and carefully lift the stitching out and cut it. Oh, that feels weird. Whew. I am so nervous. I've done this before, but I'm still nervous to do it with a fresh journal. All right. You're gonna cut all of I like to take the back of the blade and slide it underneath. And then, ooh, that one was pretty easy. And then turn the knife up, the blade up, so that it will slice through that page. Oops. Gotta be careful not to get the page itself and just get the thread there. There we go. All right. And then we're gonna go 4 more pages. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that is 1 sheet. Now the front sheet is weird because this sheet is glued to the edge. We're just gonna pull out the 3 on top, if that makes sense. And they just come right out of there. And then these 2 sheets I'm gonna take out in a little bit because they're a little more complicated. But here we have our first few pages. All right, so we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Find our binding again. Slide our X-Acto knife underneath. Oops. If it'll let us. Come on, there we go. This one is being problematic. Here we go. There we go. Don't think I got all of these threads. Yeah. All right, so we're taking 4 from each side. 2, 3, and 4. Oh, that's not it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. That is our page. And it comes out in these little books of just a few pages at a time. So I think I will speed this portion up and then come back when it gets to the next step. Oh, another note, when it comes to pulling these out, make sure that your point of force on this side is basically parallel to your hand on the other side, and you're just gonna tug out and down just a little bit, and then shift your hand. That way your pages come out nice and clean. It takes a little bit of practice, I suppose, but the more you do it, obviously, the easier it gets. And 4. Then you can get nice clean pages, and yeah. I know I was gonna say something else, but I don't. I'm blanking now. I can't do 2 things at once. The further along you get, the easier it will be to find your pages on this side after you flip, because there's going to be a greater gap. All right, that should be enough for you to be able to see how I'm doing it. I'm gonna take care of these 2 front pages that are a little more finicky. I think what I'm gonna do is take my X-Acto knife, and I'm just gonna run it in this crease here between the cover and that cardstock page. Right like that. And that should help release these pages. Yeah, that'll do. There we go. And we'll put these in this, with this first book. So that'll be right there where that belongs. And I'll deal with the cover itself later. But we'll set this aside so you can see the next step, which is trimming the pages. I like to keep the books together, trim them and punch them all at once. That way they are a bit more uniform. Again, we're gonna skip this first book because it's a little more complicated. And we are going to, actually, I'm gonna work backwards. We're gonna go from here. We got this. We're gonna open it up. Let's see. We need to just barely take any off, but we also need these to all be the same width. So we're going to find our mark here. I'm gonna go right there. So on my thing is just shy of 6 inches. I like to cut from the middle up and down. And then I got just this teeny tiny little sliver off just to neaten up that edge. And then I have my hole punch. Let's make sure it's set to A5. Yep, yeah, we're good. Okay, and then I'm going to punch the left side of my pages so that they all end up the same. Right like that. And then you have a hole punched page. At this point, it is ready to go in a planner. I'm going to do the extra step of rounding the corners, but again, I will get through my stack and do that in a moment. The next book, get our strap to the side, line it up with that same spot. Now, because I'm doing these as individual books, there will be some variation throughout each book, which if you're going to debind your book, you could take it to a stationery store or get one of the chopper things, that guillotine, that's what they're called, that can handle a full book and do it all at once. I think like places like Office Max and whatnot can do that. I've never done it that way though. I find it therapeutic to do it this way. Just the repetitive action of, you know, pulling everything out of your book and slicing it and punching it. It's almost meditative. And I do like that. I think this, there we go. Another note is with the paper of the Hobonichis, you have to slice it and punch it more than one sheet at a time. Otherwise it will get a little messed up. Which is just fine with me, because this is much faster than a single sheet at a time. If you need to and you just want to do one page, find a piece of scrap paper and lay it with whatever you're cutting or punching, and you'll get nice clean lines that way. Barely. Almost didn't take off enough. That's okay. Ooh. That's not quite. one over. Do it one more time. And then just got a little gnarly. I might need to change the blade on my cutter deal. But again, that's okay. I'm not looking for perfection. And then this last one, let's see what we can do about this, because it's offset. There we go. Okay. Line it up. Trimmer. There we go. And punch. There we go. It needs a little more force. So these pages are going to be a little bit stuck together. There we go. And then these two are actually still glued together, just barely. I'm going to very gently peel this off. There we go. All right. These are the pages I've done so far. Again, these are ready to go in a journal and start using. If you like, but I am going to round my corners. For this journal, I like the 10mm because it's so soft. And you're gonna take, again, we'll skip these first few pages. You're gonna take, you know, one book at a time. You're gonna have your corner rounder. Line it up in there. Oh, that might be too many. Oh, this is 2 books, that's why. Haha. All right. Make sure your pages are stacked neatly. 10mm. Make sure it's in the corner rounder as precisely as you can. Wait till it clicks, and there you have a rounded corner. With this particular corner rounder, be careful that you get the same size with each piece, because it can be easy to just get in the zone and then accidentally switch sizes. There we are. Done. I'm gonna put these here. Nope, that was not in there correctly. So see how this corner's a little off? Make sure it's in there. That's better. Well, I suppose I'm gonna finish the rest of these off camera, and I'll see you guys in a moment. Okie doke, I have finished all of the pages. They're all cut and punched and rounded corners. They're not perfect, but that's, again, not what we're looking for. They're gonna be a lot less perfect by the time we're done using them. So that's done, and I need to do the cover now, which is a little bit, not more complicated, but it has a tendency to be more problematic. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide this under. I gotta get these edges trimmed nice. So I'm gonna measure it the same way I did the pages. Right there. Try and lay it as flat as possible. I'll see how this works. I'm gonna start this in the middle, press down hard, and bring it from one end or down to the ends. Give it a couple passes. Okay. Not perfect. Let's see if we can clean up that edge a little bit more. So that's actually pretty, we're gonna keep that the way it is. All right, we need to hole punch it. This is hard because it's so thick, it doesn't like to fit in my hole punch. So you gotta be extra careful and double check everything. There we go. Same deal with the corner rounder. There we go. Go. So that was the front cover. Line this up. There we go. Beautiful. That turned out much better than the last time I did this. Hole punch first. Go. Ooh, actually, I might have just made a mistake. I think I did. Oh, no, we're good. Whew. Okay. With some paper sizes, when you punch the wrong way around, it'll misalign the holes. There we go. Punch. And there we go. And our book is completely debound and ready to be put into a binder, which will probably happen in a different video. Thank you for watching. I hope this helped if you do decide to debind your own and put it in rings. Hopefully it makes the process a bit smoother for you.